Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, family. Welcome to the Mental House. With me, your host, Khadija. I got something that I think that you will enjoy, uh, whatever side of the diaspora that you're on. And if you love truth to some degree, it, even if it's not all shut up in your bones, but you've made the decision that I can't go with this no more. I just got to go with the truth. Then I commend you because it's a real hard time right now for you to be authentic and stay true to yourself. Y'all know that, right? So I want to thank Lori Daniel. Lori Daniel Favor, I think it is. Um, she's on Sirius, Lori, FM radio. Her name is Lori Daniel Favors, and I really want to thank her for this podcast that she does. And every once in a while, you'll get a woman. Well, I shouldn't say every once in a while because that'll make my sisters all over the continent be pissed off with me. But sometimes you just hear somebody that says something in their way that makes you say, look, either you have to uh, poop or get up off the pot. You understand what I'm saying? And you know how we say it, those of us that are old school. Uh, Either you shit or you get your ass off the pot. Am I right? I want to thank Lori Daniels for how she handled this caller that was empathizing and sympathizing with Charlie Kirk. Um, and it's amazing how white folks gaslight. It's just amazing. They that's their nature is to gaslight. So once you realize that, and once you study that part of the narcissistic mindset of the European, then you can kind of understand those who don't work every day on a sustaining basis to work on their supremacy. They have it. It's shut up in their bones. Some because it's an ideology that they've just been accustomed to. Even if they got black friends, the black people leave the room and then they talk about us. So a lot of them have been groomed in that type of environment. And then there's always somebody, there's an exception to every rule, that rejects the madness. And so I really appreciate the ones who do. Lori Daniels' favor, um, just cooked this man up for dinner, served him up on a platter, and I want to know if y'all got the memo. If you didn't, I'm gonna play it for you right now.
Yeah, hey, can you hear me? Yes, we hear you. Yeah, hey, I've been listening a little bit, first time caller. Devastated by the news, what happened yesterday, and really devastated for um, the trajectory of our country. My question, my thought is, from the left, it seems like you want to throw out terms like fascists and Nazis, and what would that ideology perpetuate? What does fascism or Nazism perpetuate? I think we're all pretty clear on that. But we're talking about people who have embraced Nazi ideology and fascist ideology. So, and just so we're all on the same page, because again, words matter, right? Words really, really matter. Just so we're all clear, Charlie Kirk is the same person who said that basically, if there was a black pilot on a plane, he's not getting on the plane. Like he's someone who said that black women are wholly unintelligent, so they take jobs and positions from white people. He's the one that said the Civil Rights Act created a beast. He's the one that said a whole host of negative things. So if you're spouting negative, racist, fascist, Nazi type of commentary, then pointing out that you're spewing fascist, racist commentary doesn't make the person pointing it out a racist or a fascist. And
And so on this show, we don't deal with the calling a thing out is the bad thing. We look at the thing that's being called out. Does that make sense?
So painting another person that has different beliefs, whether those beliefs are abhorrent or not, and then calling somebody a fascist or a Nazi, in turn calls for violence against that group of people.
So, I see where you're coming from. You're one of those people who believes that being called a racist is worse than the racist thing that was being called out. So we just don't do that here. You have a frame of reference that might work really well for you, but for us, it's a frame of reference that is really within the realm of the unlearned and the uneducated. So we're not going to say. So what we do is we point out the thing. So if the sky is blue, we say the sky is blue. We don't look at the person that said the sky is blue and said, "You're a bluist. You're a colorist. Why didn't you say the sky can also be white? Aren't clouds white? It can be both. The sky can also be black. And you're a colorist."
Which in turn, y'all, is a form of gaslighting. And this is how they communicate. I need you to understand the Neanderthal mindset that we're dealing with here. That is how they communicate. So you're never gonna change it. You're never gonna change the majority of them thinking like that. There's the ones, like I said, that have done the studying, that have put in the amount of work to come from up under this matrix. But how many of them have done the work? Because what she's pointing out is exactly their frame of reference, a gaslighter. Shall we continue?
So we don't do that here. If you say racist, fascist things, we're going to identify those things as racist and fascist because that's what people with common sense do. And as somebody who grew up in Germany, a nation that has a real history of dealing with Nazism and of then having to recover from Nazism, I'm in a pretty good position to be able to identify it. I study it. I don't know how much of this you study. From your comments, I'm not quite sure if you're studying this topic or if you're experiencing and feeling this topic, which does provide a different frame of reference. But we don't do the thing here where we say you can't call out a thing for being a thing, because that to us is what unlearned people do. Does that make sense?
Okay, my other question is, what states and cities have some of the
He
strictest
just moved right over that.
laws in the nation?
Oh, well, that would be a valid question if we didn't have a nation that didn't have gun violence as a national issue. So if we look at the individual states that are trying to do a thing, and then we extrapolate from that what the nation is doing, if those things are not incompatible, if they're not working together, they undermine each other. I'll put it to you like this. If I have siblings, right, let's say we all live in a house, we're all siblings, and I keep my room really, really clean. Like, my room is pristine. It is phenomenally clean. Like, you could eat off my floors. You could rub food on the walls and know the walls. You could just eat, and it's an amazingly clean space. But let's say you're my brother, and you're next door to me, or you're somewhere else in the house, and you are dirty, like so dirty, like you're not using soap to wash your hands, so you're spreading germs. You're not using like a washcloth to clean your body, so like you're the water, like you're an unkempt person. Let's say hypothetically in this example, your room is trashed. You're not well. You eat and you throw crumbs all over the place. Even though my room is pristine and clean, because we live in the same house, the rats and the roaches that you are bringing into the household are also going to make their way into my household. So to us here, where we do things based on facts and education, it is a false conversation to say that there are states that have really extreme gun laws but still have gun violence without looking at the reasons that can happen, because those states with really good gun laws live in a nation that has terrible gun laws, has a very powerful gun lobby that basically uses its position to ensure that legislators won't actually pass gun control, and then we end up in situations like this where we are the only nation on the planet that, yes, has mental health issues, as does every other nation. Yes, we have video games that are violent, as does every other nation, but we're the only nation on the planet that has the unique position of allowing as many people as possible to have access to weapons, including the mentally ill, who the Democrats tried to pass legislation and did that would prevent them from getting access to guns and weapons and engaging in these sorts of behaviors, and then Republicans came in and undid all of that.
The onlyest ones.
Okay, so I see what you're doing here. You're putting me on mute so you can spout all of your left wing.
Oh, don't put him on mute. Don't put him on mute. Here's the thing. You called me. I didn't call you. I don't even know you. I don't really even like you
either.
But you called me. And so since you called me, you are the one asking to speak with me. Unlike you, sit behind a microphone where there are thousands of people on a YouTube channel, millions of people listening. Actually, now you can shut him down. Now you can be quiet.
He definitely shares the same opinion as Charlie Kirk. And he's very saddened that Charlie Kirk is being labeled exactly true to what he put out. And this guy here, Adam, doesn't feel good. knowing that people see him in a very negative light, which he put himself
in the first place.
Because you don't have power in this situation to come into a show where we deal with facts and then just spout comments that aren't tied to reality. We have been very respectful. We have bent over backwards to not allow anyone in our audience to violate the memory of that man. We have talked about what he said. We have talked about what he's done. You who don't even listen to this show decided to call up and air your emotions. You should probably be talking to a therapist, but you called into a talk show where we are having a fact-based conversation about the realities of gun violence and political violence in this country. And you think we should just hold you gently by the hand and stare you into your eyes while you just get to lie and divert the conversation? That's not going to happen.
Oh, I forgot about the way Truth speaks. Shout out to you, the way Truth speaks. Truth speaks brought this um, podcast from the Lurie Daniels show, favorite show, and I appreciate that. So y'all get a chance, go over and check out some of her content. This is some of the creators that I listen to, some of the creators that I think have their thumbs on the pulse of what's going on. So shout out to you, the way Truth speaks, and a shout out again to Lurie Daniel Favors. Let's get it.
Happen. So the reason I'm saying you called me and I have a platform is because there is a power differential here. And based on what you said thus far, I'm fairly certain that the power differential is what's really bothering you, because I, as a black woman, not allowing you to talk. And yes, you will be put on mute because I am going to be the one that has the final word here, because it's my show. It is called the Lurie Daniel Favors Show, not the Adam on Line 7 from South Dakota show. But I will give you a final comment if you'd like to. Oh, he's still talking. Well, let's hear what he has to say, because it might be something worth that. Oh, yeah, go ahead. We're listening now.
Yeah, I'm saying painting another group as fascist, Nazis, racist, whatever, because they might have a different opinion than you.
Are their opinions racist?
Oh,
Adam, is it racist to say black people are not qualified to be pilots simply because they're black? Is that a racist comment?
I haven't.
Yes or no? You don't have to hear it.
Yes or no?
You called me. You don't have to hear it. I don't care if you're a racist person. I don't care if you got a racist bone in your fucking body. If you're spouting racist comments, I'm gonna say that shit is racist. And a ding dong like you calling into me to say, hey, why'd you call it racist? The obvious answer is that I said it was racist because it's racist. If you say, this is the problem with white nationalist thinking. You don't want to take responsibility. You are the least responsible for everything. White nationalists will say anything and then get upset that you pointed out that what they said was bad. You don't want to take responsibility. You descend from an ancestry that came into land that it wasn't yours. You claimed it as your homeland, and then you get mad when people say you genocided the land. You came from people who trafficked Africans by the millions because you didn't have the intellectual capacity to even know how to farm that land. You had the intellectual capacity to be a thief and a stealer and a human trafficker, and you descend from people who brought Africans over here and then get mad when we point that out as being a slavery, genocidal, racist thing to do. I don't know what you expect from the rest of humanity. You just think that all the rest of us are just supposed to allow you to just skeet your violence and your misogyny and your racism and your terrorism all over the planet, and we're just supposed to gobble it up because it came from the mouths of you? Like, what an inflated sense of ego. What an inflated sense of an overindulgent sense of importance that you should not have because you do not have the capacity to carry it. We have bent over fucking backwards to not call that man out for the awful things that he has done. And we will continue to do so. Why? Because we're better than you. Not because of something genetic, simply because our culture would not allow us to delve into the levels of inhumanity that you seem to be willing to rot in. Anything else you want to add before we could say goodbye and prepare this to go up on YouTube and just talk about it ad nauseum in the comments?
Yes, yeah. This is exactly why an innocent man with a different ideology was shot and killed on mainstream TV yesterday. Because of this hate that you spew.
Wait, what hate? I really shouldn't even waste my time here, but now I'm intrigued. What hate? Where's the hate, man?
Calling other people fascist, racist, uneducated.
Okay, so here we go. Let me just ask you this final question.
Wow.
Is it worse to be a fascist?
Wow.
Or to be called a fascist for doing fascist things? Actually, I don't even want your answer. I'm just going to let you sit with that. Just let that sit in your spirit to the extent that you still have
sizzle in your spirit.
Is it worse to be a fascist or to be called a fascist for
Sizzle
doing
in your
fascist things.
spirit. Oh my goodness. And that's the problem um, with white nationalism, with white supremacy. The jig is up. And you guys are doing everything, everything to hold on to that power. Because for some reason, you feel that if we enjoy the earth, the creation that God gave us, and we all are able to enjoy it, wealth, food, shelter, and that all of humanity should be afforded the same things, not 80, 97% of the wealth going to one group of people, and y'all fine with that. There's something missing with you, and because you think that equality means you won't be able to watch kids starve, or you won't be able to play Monopoly and chess with people's lives, somehow you've been demoted. Well, white man, I think it's time you get demoted. And you need the cover pulled off of you, because Charlie Kirk was not somebody that, I'm not talking about somebody like Byron Donald, or somebody that you've had the opportunity to allow him to perform so you can say, I got a good nigga. I'm not talking about those kind of people. There's a humanity gene. And any sane and rational person can see that something on the planet is happening. How in the hell can you expect people to not say anything about Charlie Kirk when Charlie Kirk spilled all that shit about us? Are you crazy or are you dumb? I'm very indifferent to Charlie Kirk. I don't give a fuck about Charlie Kirk, if you really want to know the truth. And let's just make it plain. I don't give a fuck about him. Okay? Just like he doesn't give a fuck about me. Now, with that being said, let's just go on. But because you're a white supremacist or a white nationalist, you like, how dare me say that about your beloved Charlie Kirk? Well, fuck Charlie Kirk. Unfortunately, he got shot. And you know why he got shot? Because somebody didn't like the rhetoric that he spewed. Okay? And so for those of y'all that are mocking Dr. King, y'all shot him too. Because of the stuff that was coming out of his mouth. Even though it wasn't lies. But you shot him down. You shot John Kennedy down. Right on live TV. You shot Bobby Kennedy down. Right on TV. What the hell do you think? That I'm getting ready to feel some kind of way about Charlie Kirk? This country needs a healing. And it's certainly not going to get it with any more lies. So I may not articulate it the way you want me to. But the feeling of my ancestors are in my veins. Okay? And anybody else that is rejecting the blueprint that y'all have been running for the last 400 years, we sick of that shit. And how dare you think that we don't have no cellular memory for the ways you've gaslit, mistreated, abused, trafficked, castrated. Listen, y'all really need to get y'all minds right. You really do. Because right now they all wrong. And again, let's remind you of what Dr. King said. Either we gonna live as brothers on the planet, or we gonna perish as fools. And I think that's very self-explanatory. I don't think it needs no definition, no explanation, should I say. We're going to learn to live as brothers. We can be separate, but it's got to be equal. The day of the master slave is over. No matter what you do, you can't put the toothpaste back in the bottle. And just like we are master builders, we're master burners. Master. With that being said, if you like what you hear, please like and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully.